guests come? No? Because if they've waited this long, I want us to be opening ready to come and show you. What is left?
6. No, it's 6.
What is left? What is that?
Just change this transmission.
Finish this up. So, Frank, you can do what you want to do.
Are you here?
Are we ready now?
Are we ready?
Something keeps changing when we're ready. I appreciate somebody giving me feedback, so I don't miss.
You are ready, you are just trying to change this. So that means it's not ready.
No, she said just first.
It is that sentence for we are ready, we are still trying to change something.
Wait, how important is this thing you're doing? Yes.
It's coming, it's coming.
Just to go. There's really no point for them to come and watch all of this. I know. You guys, how important is this thing you're doing?
It's not coming. Bro, it's coming.
Just leave it there. Attach the other one on top of it. Attach the other one on the other side of the display.
You need to take, right? Don't worry. Attach this one here. Just attach it here.
So we can start bringing it.
This one, this one. Don't forget about that one.
Come on, reduce so that I'm always
This is the
So anything, let's have all the boxes, bags to be as hidden as possible.
So,
Everything about the towel and everything. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Because there's hands in one. They're all back. Do you know this gentleman?
No, I don't.
He's got English before.
I have this one. The one that keeps the name my phone. 25 minutes later than Kiza. 25 minutes later than Kiza. No, we'll talk about it. We have to. 25 minutes later than Kiza. There's a problem. I'm kidding.
How are you, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. And then it's transferred and so
Once, because what we just want to then eventually, so there's no room for testing again.
when are they back?
Yeah, for the most part. She don't want to lift it up.
It'll be perfect time.
Yeah. Very white.
Yes, very quiet. Very quiet.
You're gonna raise
I
it
don't
up.
drive this whole way. This now.
There they are. Now see.
Yeah, I just keep this so that might look
Because I don't think it's gonna do anything. This is it's gone lower than it was before. But as long as you can check.
I was looking for you yesterday. What is my pipeline progress?
We're trying to manage emotions so that the honorable minister doesn't get upset with us. So that she doesn't get upset with us. Because he was like, let's get the show on the road. Okay, great. Okay, guys. Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
While we're waiting for our tech guys to get us all set to go, I'd like to first apologize for the slightly late start. I'm slightly late because we pegged arrival at 4 o'clock and the conversation to start at 5 o'clock. So it's just 5:05. So that's why I said slightly late. But we do definitely appreciate everybody being here. As you can tell, it's a very private, exclusive, small gathering physically. We're expecting more people to join us virtually. And just so we start right, I would ask our host to be seated as well. Emmanuel, can we have Mr. Michael come and be seated as well so we can start it off with him? I insist.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So while we, as I said, wait for the tech guys to really get you all sorted, we'd like to present an opportunity for all our physical guests to introduce themselves. I do know that you might have had a chance to chit-chat with the ministers, honorable ministers, beforehand, but now let's have everyone introduce themselves. Very short format, please. Your name, what you do. Let's keep it to that so that there's no long story. So your name and what you do. I'll start from the back, if that's okay, and then we bring it all the way forward. She's supposed to be seated in front.
It's okay.
But
Likes to walk
I
around.
understand she's hosting, so she's in
the background.
always
So
work
we'll
at the
start
back.
with you. Please introduce yourself, and then we'll take it around the room. Thank you.
So, okay, I'm not Nigerian, but I'm blonde to you guys. So, my name is Bella. So, I'm a physics lab engineer. So, then I've been living in Dubai for 15 years. So, I'm welcoming you all in our office. Hope you all enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. She's our hostess, by the way. Next.
Yeah, my name is Khalil Mohammed, and I operate the African restaurant called African Home Restaurant. I've been here for like 30 years.
Thank you. So you're in the F&B business. So just to remind us, name and what you do. Keep it short.
My name is Boston Fatoki from Abu Dhabi. I'm in real estate, and I've been in Abu Dhabi for 9 years now.
Thank you. Emmanuel, there's supposed to be a mic in the audience. Where is it? And that's just for the recording. I know I can hear you perfectly well. Pass it to the back.
Do I go today?
No, it's okay. Fear not.
Hi everyone, my name is Chioma. I am a student of Heriot Watts in Dubai. Lovely to meet you all. I've been in Dubai for 5 years studying for a degree in finance.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Patience. I am a receptionist here in Dubai at Dubai International Bowling Center. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ijoma, known as Real Talk with IG on YouTube. I am a dating and relationship coach, and I'm also a geologist. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Timi Adegoke, construction manager for NAS Contracting. We build substations for DIWA.
I'm Citizen Olatosin. I'm a social media influencer.
AKA cup of tea.
Hi, my name is Joel Dadike. I am an artist and also the chairman of Pogland Group and director of Posh and Glance African Market Dubai.
Yeah, my name is Olushola Medukwe, owner of Enish Restaurant.
Hi, my name is Tony Hayo. I live in Dubai for nearly 15 years now, and I help people move to Dubai on my brand Live Up.
You help people move into Dubai?
Yeah.
Well, my name is Ahmed Ajismobi. I've been living in Dubai for almost 2 decades. I'm a manufacturer.
Hi, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. I'm a graduate from Anglican Ruskin University and a co-founder of TGenZ. NGO.
What's TGenZ?
It's an NGO.
Joe Osawaye, Chief Inspiration Officer of the Kiza Group. I think I'm a community leader.
Yes. No, don't think we know. You are.
Yes.
My name is Michael Adeni, the owner of Adeni Group, into the real estate, second passport, and general trading. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to ask everyone to give yourselves a round of applause for being here. You know I MC, so it's part of what we always do. This is no different. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Maya Adegoke. I'm a woman of many hats, as most of you will know, but I'm a media entrepreneur, and I'd say a community leader in some sense as well. So thank you so much for being here. We're very honored to be hosted by the Adeni Group. They're essentially the brains behind all of this, and they just reached us to say, you know what, we know that this is what you do. Come and do what you do, essentially. And it's a very simple idea behind it. We're honored to have the honorable ministers in Dubai, and we thought, as well as the Adeni Group thought, what better opportunity to create that platform, access to engage. Oftentimes when we're in the diaspora, it's like, yeah, you're just in diaspora and that's end of discussion. The only thing you do is send money home. But we appreciate the opportunity to engage with our leaders back home, we're all very passionate about Nigeria, one way or the other. And even if you decide you're never going back to Nigeria, the truth is Nigeria needs you to succeed. What do I mean? If you're sending money home, Nigeria is benefiting from that success. And if you're being a part of the economy back home, it's also good to get the opportunity to influence in some way the conversations and the initiatives that contribute to not just the Nigerians in Nigeria, but the Nigerians everywhere, including those here in the UAE. Honorable Ministers, it's so good to have you here with us. Thank you for your patience. And we do know that you came on a holiday, but here you are still working. We appreciate you taking the time. And it's a very simple meeting, honestly. I do know, yes, I'm honored to moderate the conversation and ask the questions, but it really is a conversation, point blank, period. I'd like to start by first doing the honors and introducing our honorable ministers, starting with Honorable Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Thank you so much for being here. She's a visionary leader, a trailblazer, and dedicated public servant who's joined us here today. Of course, you do know that her portfolio, as of this moment, is the Women's Ministry. We're looking to really hear her thoughts about not just women in Nigeria, but women here in the diaspora, and particularly in the UAE as well. We also have our Honorable Youth Minister, or Minister of Youth Development, if I were to say it correctly, Ayo Dele Olawande Wisdom. You might find him on Instagram as Ayo Wisdom. Thank you so much for being here. He's been a minister for a bit now, but he just recently got reassigned or reshuffled through the recent reshuffle in October, and now his portfolio is on youth development. And as you will see in the room, you're either a youth or you're a leader of the youth, somehow, some way. So everyone in this room handpicked to be here. And why? Because some of us here have platforms who are here. Some of us have businesses that really connect with the young people who are here. Some of us are employers of labor, and of course we do employ Nigerian youths. So everyone here, there's no, some of us are students represented, we have influencers, we have someone like Patience who's got a great following on TikTok. So everyone here is specially selected to be here. I'll start with you, ma'am. And just soft landing perhaps. How does it feel to be in this room right now? An opportunity to engage with Nigerian youths in the UAE.
It's exciting. It's a huge opportunity, and that's why they say that you have to guard your circle of influence. You have to be very, very intentional. I chose my colleague, my brother, my partner in progress as a friend for a reason. Whenever we engage, he brings a lot of value to my life. I think it's a good time for me to appreciate him. So many times I speak to him before, it turns into something that is not just life-changing for me, but for the people that we serve. So thank you so much, Mr. Ayo Wisdom, as you've been known in the public space, Honorable Minister. We just spoke yesterday and he said, look, there's something we're doing tomorrow. He's the only one that could have brought me out of my holiday mode. And just like I said, just be a good person. When you're a good person, good things happen. And I just came here for a holiday. This is something that we have to pay to even get it happen, but it's going to help us as a country, it's going to help us as a people, and it's going to help us achieve in the area of our work. So yes, I'm so excited to be with all of you, and I look forward to sharing and learning and paving the way for a better Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister Wisdom, I'm just going to, that name Wisdom is so powerful. I'm just going to stick to that if you'll permit me. Yeah. How does it feel to be here in this room, this opportunity to engage?
Privilege. Privilege, privilege, privilege. Also. And sitting down here tells you that whatever you have, wherever you find yourself, whatsoever you're connecting with, it's a journey that in large numbers of people don't value. And I was to put up some things about 3 values that when you miss one of it, there's no how it's not going to tell on you. So sitting down here is still the loyalty, the respect, and characters that has put in place. So for me, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's a privilege that, like she said, it's on holiday. I throw up a lot of things. I don't pick calls. I don't do a lot of things and all that. But we're also happy. I'm always happy when I'm with the young people that majority of us were valuable. And when you have heads, you will drive. But when it is only you that you think you have the leg to press, you have the hand to, you made a mistake, and you have an accident. But when your head is working and you have people to drive with you, you're going to get well. So it's a privilege, and a wonderful privilege, which I can tell you, none of us are going to take it for granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's go into the deep end of the conversation. Now, I'm sure that if given the opportunity, everyone here will probably have 20, 50 questions that they'd like to ask you. We're not strangers to Nigeria, or even the situation in Nigeria right now. Nigeria will always be Nigeria, home and dear. But I want us to streamline the conversation to how it relates to the diaspora, especially, because essentially that's why we're here. So please, let's not talk about the rest of the bag in Nigeria right now. Let's talk about us who are here in the UAE and how we can connect with the government back home, how the government can support us even as we're here. But before we get into all that, I'd just like to hear from you. I know that the portfolio is still essentially new. It's just about 3-4 months old. But I'm sure, again, that a lot has gone on behind the scenes. And prior to this meeting, I'm sure you're also thinking, okay, what would I like to share with the good people of Nigeria who are based in the UAE? Let's start with understanding what your agenda is, part of this portfolio, any initiatives, conversations that really address or target Nigerian youths abroad.
Okay. So I'll start with the opening statement. And it's just to set the context. Many times, not just for the diasporans, even in Nigeria, this is okay.
That way. Yeah,
it doesn't go beyond there. Okay, it's okay. Okay. So the mandate is being misunderstood, especially for our ministry. When you hear Ministry of Women Affairs or Ministry of Women Affairs, Social Development, people don't really understand what critical function they will perform for government. So, you know, it exists in every country, but it's being called maybe differently. So for Nigeria, Ministry of Women Affairs, mandate revolves around women development and social protection. So when it comes to developing women, empowering them economically, every woman in Nigeria, every sector, woman in Nigeria, and then their protection when it comes to SGBP, when it comes to other social issues, when it comes to even bring them back on track after maybe some kind of man-made crisis or natural disaster. This is the ministry that coordinates it. We may not be the only ministry, but we're the lead when it comes to women development and protection. And also when you speak about children, we're the Ministry for Children. We do have a Child Right Act in Nigeria that is 21 years old, that is undergoing review from this month. And we also look after the development and protection of children. We know that there's a lot of children abuse, there's a lot of requirement for us to develop our children, because that's where it all starts. If we don't do it, that's how we end up with people like Turuji and Chekau. So we have to get it. We have to get our child development right. And also the ministry in charge of family cohesion. It exists in every country. Family laws, family support, family interventions. So we are the lead ministry for that. And finally, we also look after the vulnerable people, the senior citizens, the disabled people. Right now, they're domiciled with the last dispensation, they're domiciled with the Ministry of Managerial Affairs, but it's a bit of a mismatch because they don't really need humanitarian support. What they need is social protection. So this is the areas in which we're supposed to work. So not just women, I think I can comfortably say it's women and men, which is everybody. So we're the Ministry of Development and Protection for social groups, for gender. People don't like to say gender because of the LGBTQ issues around, but we look after this category of people. The team put down some things. I think it's a good time for me to go through them so that I don't come back to it again. You know, they spoke about the importance of diaspora when it comes to the future of this ministry. I'd like to go through it. I'd like to read through because I saw some really good stuff that they've put down. They started with, with the salutation. It's an honor for me to address this gathering of exceptional Nigerian women and men in the UAE. Your presence and achievements in the UAE are testament to your resilience and the incredible strides Nigerian women are making across the globe. Caesar is on this role and accepted the responsibility of the safety and well-being of Nigerian women, children, and families. I'm continually being reminded that Nigerian people are warriors, particularly the women. In every corner of our society, we see women finding ways to survive with empty purses, women protecting and providing for their children despite every imaginable obstacle, women sharpening ceilings, glass, or otherwise, women doing the impossible at home, abroad. Nigerian women, I am humbled by your strength, courage, and creativity. So when I say women, I speak about the people that we serve. As I stand here, as I sit here to acknowledge your resilience and unbreakable spirit, I'm also here to tell you that help is coming. The renewal of agenda, championed by His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, assures us that the empowerment of women and the protection of children is central to the development of our beloved country. My mission, therefore, in this role is to ensure that women, both at home and in diaspora, have the support and opportunities that they need, not only to survive, but also to thrive and prosper as Nigerians. In line with the vision, we have begun to outline bold and transformative initiatives in the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs through our Strategic Action Plan of 2024-2027 that will reshape our approach as we deliver our mandate for government. We aim to foster real opportunities for women to lead and innovate across the blue, green, digital, and creative economies, empowering 10 million women to play a pivotal role in building a thriving $1 trillion economy as envisioned by our principal, His Excellency, Mr. President Bola Tinubu, GCFR. Soon we will unveil our financial inclusion plan that will include the establishment of a women's bank to deepen the inclusive drive for Nigerian women and families. Our climate action commitments recently presented at the COP29 and COP16 includes transitioning 1 million households to clean cooking solutions and empowering 100,000 female smallholder farmers in the climate resilience agriculture. These efforts not only address these environmental challenges that impact women and children the most, but also affirms the crucial role women play in agriculture. As you may all be aware, 70% of farmers in Nigeria are women, and they are responsible for 80% of the output of our agricultural output. On protection and safety, they are priority for us. Prevention of the SGBV, that's the violence against children, against women and our citizens, we continue to prioritize through enhancement of legislative systems. I told you all our laws are outdated. There's need for review. We'll focus efforts on preventive measures, so we don't want people to be abused. So we don't have to wait for them to be abused, for them to seek justice or to be rehabilitated. We'll come from the preventive angle. However, for survivors, we want to provide a total rehabilitation and integration model that addresses their physical and psychological needs. For our children, in line with our national commitment to ending all forms of violence against children, we're already in the process of strengthening legislative framework for protection, which is our Child Rights Act of 2003. It's undergoing review right now. We also seek to provide specialized attention to the development of the Nigerian child through the establishment of the Child Protection and Development Agency. We do not have one. Through this mechanism, we can truly honestly address the educational, health, welfare, and well-being needs of our children now and in the future. On critical issues, we will not neglect. Okay, one critical issue we will not neglect is also the period poverty. We are committed to launching a national end period poverty campaign to provide adolescent girls and women with access to menstrual hygiene products and education. Through this platform, we hope to expand into issues of reproductive health and mental well-being. As we know, resilient families produce productive citizens. So we hope to establish firm family cohesion strategies so that vulnerable families are equipped to handle the challenges that they face. This will be achieved through the establishment of a multi-billion naira Vulnerable Family Intervention Fund. My fellow Nigerian women, men, families, these are only a few of our plans. We are ambitious, and a single person organization cannot handle it alone. You know, I was telling you, I'm here by activating my sisterhood card. My sisters, my brothers, we need your help. We must show how powerful the Nigerian people are. As I have been saying, it is our time. And I always say it, even in my inaugural speech, I said it is women o'clock. We can together make 2025 the beginning of golden age for the Nigerian woman. As we handle the issues, we can also celebrate the successes. All of you here are success stories in one way or the other, and that's because, and because of that, I'm convinced that by working together, we can safeguard, protect the rights of women, children, and the vulnerable families. We can uplift and empower the Nigerian woman. We can raise strong, responsible, productive, and brilliant, resilient children. We can together transform our dear nation for the better. As we move forward with these ambitious plans, I seek your support and collaboration, and I can assure you that with renewed hope, we can rebuild trust and restore confidence. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless you all. And may God bless our beloved country. Together, and it had a lot of information when it comes to our vision, our big, audacious goals, our plans. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. I know that definitely it was packed, and I know one or two people would, especially ladies perhaps, would have questions that we will take when it's Q&A time.
No problem.
Honorable Minister of Wisdom, youth. We had lunch just a few hours ago, and I remember something really poignant that you shared was you had for 2025 3 key agendas: to empower, to support, and to protect. Did I get that correctly? Would you like to share more with this audience?
Oh, thank you very much. Let me thank you once again and really appreciate you for taking part of your time, because everybody works to get something, and when you ask people questions, why are they in Dubai? Everybody wants to, in normal youth language, also just to get something to himself, with the family, to grow as a human being. And in Nigeria, she's talking about what we have, what is our mission, what is our goal for the Nigerian youth. No doubt about that, we are 70% or the population of a country. And I said it, is if there's anything you want to do, if it is not about the young people, forget about it. It doesn't work. Even the old ones, the babas and mamas, everybody, if they want to do anything, they still come back, and it's still based on young people. Where are we? We complain, we put it off, we have issues. In large numbers of us, out of the 70%, in fact, 60% of us are jobless. If you ask us anytime, any day, what are those things that our young people are facing in the country? Is unemployment. If you are employed, if you are engaged, if you can get things to yourself, if you can make something out of nothing, you will be fine to make sure that you make sure that things are normal and you live a meaningful life. And one of those things that the president have put in place for us, which have never happened before in the country, is that we are in the affairs of ourselves. It is not an old man that it is in the affairs of the youth in the country anymore. It is what we call youth for youth. And we continue telling ourselves and asking ourselves, if we cannot come together and do it now, both of us that are in Nigeria and those of us that are in abroad, if we cannot do it now, then when are we going to do it? And the question is, we have a man that listed as president. We have a man that has a passion that wants to come up with a legacy. So why can't we start now and protest the young people? If we have it during the NSAS, a lot of questions have been asked. Our NSAS, even as NSAS as a scenario that happens in the country, we really answered the question of the young people. And the questions, the answer we answered and asked ourselves and also explained to ourselves is no. Because you will still go to the road and you still see a lot of security agencies. Thank God she was Minister of State for Police Affairs before, and she understands what is happening within the system, the institution of the country. Are we protecting the young people at all? I have, even me as a person before becoming a minister, I have my own view about the institutions that are protected. And even when you look at the budget of a president that was just presented to the National Assembly, it was emphasizing on security, protection of Nigerians. Who are the Nigerians? They are the young people. Because when you have a 70% of a country, the population of the country, like 70, so what's the 30%? So anybody that wants to give you a pass mark, there's a 50, 60, but when you get to 70%, you are looking good. So what are the percentage? What are we doing to make them look good? And that is why it is important now that, fine, are we protecting the young people? And that takes me to the level which all of us will agree with me that for decades, for 40 years, let me even give a timeline. For 40 years, the government have been far away from the young people. The young people, the youth, cannot feel the government. They can't see the government, and they can't touch the government. And how can you convince a man of 40 years now that is grown with 40 years experience of how he has battled with his life, of how he has taken care of himself alone, of how the parental issues have come to him, of how the mother cannot even provide the protection for the mother is not there, and it affects the kids. And the kid now transformed to become a teenager. From a teenager, it's a youth. Even the teenagers these days are youth because of what comes out from them. They are even more wiser than any of other youths. I've been with a boy of 2 years old for the past some days, and I can tell you for free, if you are not careful, the guy will put you aside because of the brain in his head. And it tells you what we are going to face. If you can't see the government, if you can't touch the government, if you are not proud to have a government in your country, so how will you grow to the level that even you will want to develop the country, or you go outside? And that is why, again, a lot of people have had conversations around Japa syndromes and all that and all that. And for me, I'm not against it to some level. Because if you go ahead and grab the knowledge, if you go ahead and grab the fund, if you go ahead and see how you can empower the country, going after the country, and you come back to the country to come and make use of it. Or you have people, there's no how you're not going to have people in the country and you still want to reach out to them. So part of the money you make outside, still come back to the country to come and boost the economy. So for me again, what preventions can we put so that people will not japa? It is the effort of protecting, it's part of the effort of protecting the young people to see that truly they can thrive, to give them an environment that they can live in peacefully and sit down without not putting any destructive agenda or whatever, and earn a wonderful money that they can make them plan for their future, even beyond when they are youth. So protecting them, and that is what I was Minister of State for Youth before, and whichever story is behind Minister of State, that's you must just need to do something, and that is why when I so much love it that she's there. We came off together, even as Minister of State for Police Affairs, and we said, see, we must secure the young people, and that is why we put in young and secure. And today, I can tell you for free, by next month, next year, there's going to be something in the Ministry of Youth Immediately I emerged as minister 2 months ago, it's 2 months now. I try as much as possible to put it and work with UNOPC. And that is why we also believe in most of you that are abroad here, so that you can share your idea, you can share your input. We can see how we can come together and make things happen. We now have a youth help desk. And a large numbers of those people that have put money in these youth help desks are Nigerians, but not in Nigerians. Because we want to break that gene that the youth cannot communicate with the government, that the youth cannot be protected by the government. That, okay, there's a police, there's an idea about police in Nigeria, that there's nothing you can tell them, they cannot talk to the people, they cannot do this, they cannot do that. And which I think she tried as much as possible to look at what are the problems that were happening when she was Minister of Police, Minister of State Police Affairs. And now we are bringing it, we are in charge now. We want to break the barrier that a young man, a young lady cannot communicate with the police anymore, cannot communicate his ideas, and it happens. I'll give you just one example. Mohbad lost his life because there's nobody to communicate with when he has a problem. Let's assume that we have a desk that is separate. Oh, we share ideas and all that. And you know that this thing is going to happen to this guy. What protection can we give to him? He's a star that is doing well. And that is why I can tell you that we have a young people in this country, Nigeria, called Nigerians, that think like I don't want to use that word, but the way we youth think in the country, go to any sector whatsoever. In sports, we are wonderful. It happens last month. This month, not last month. When you see us winning different awards, cups, this thing and all that. In entertainment, we thrive, we rule the world. I was at the mall, I was at a lot of places, and they were playing Nigerian songs. They are Nigerians. And I saw a white lady. It can be Arab, can be everything, it can be Russian, and she was singing with passion what one of us, youths, have tried to put together. Go to agriculture, go to ICT. We rule the ICT world in the world. So the question is, if the government can really be government, if the government can position and let us break the barrier and protect the young people, I can tell you for free, Nigerian youths are not lazy. Nigerian youths have a brain.
If I may just come in there, Honorable Minister, I love all the things you're saying. You've talked about access, you talked about sort of breaking that old mold of people thinking that government is unreachable, and this really does show that you are towing that path of we want to be reachable. I'd like to hear more on the diaspora. For instance, let me just clear out elephants in the room, and I think if this doesn't get mentioned, it would be like, what did we come to do here? In the recent past, everybody knows you've been watching the news, the past, say, 2-3 years, relationship between UAE and Nigeria was really shaky.
I'm also going there.
Was shaky, and I'm sure a lot of people will say that, yes, this government did something, as opposed to, I mean, it's the last 3 years. So this administration did do something. There's been some movement. Mm-hmm. Is it perfect yet? Perhaps not, but something is getting done. And I think everybody will agree that kudos to the government for stepping in and taking action. Now, let me narrow it down to the youth, to some of the things you raised: access, communication, open door policy. We want to hear your ideas. It would be, for instance, people in the room would say, how could we have been better heard around that time? A lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of businesses, sort of crumbled or had shaky legs. How could we have reached out to our government? We don't expect the government to solve each individual's problem, but how could there have been a bridge to say, this is exactly what is going on? Now, one of my hats is a journalist, and you realize that some people just didn't have the right information or the right context. They knew that this was going on, but did they have the context of how are young people managing? How about the people who are having to live under the bridge somewhere or something? How can we then, going forward, build a bridge? I love the idea of the youth help desk. Can there be a diaspora youth help desk, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm really going to that place, and thank God you asked the question actually, but I think we are working together. This thing are working together. the help desk is not meant for the Nigerians and Nigerian only. That is why we have a platform. And that is why we have also categorized the youth into two forms. We have part of those people, those young people, the youth that are lenient. We call ourselves a lenient, and those people in diaspora. I categorize them as former youth. Those are the youth that they can communicate anywhere. Then we're discussing something before we go to this place. And what are we discussing about the former youth? Even the Nigerian Youth Academy that the president is going to launch by next month. It is about those you can be in anywhere and communicate directly. For those that are here, for people like Citizen Tosin, which I'm seeing for the first time, I know him online very well. Also a social media person before the minister takes away myself from the social media. So I know him very well. People like him will bring in their ideas. And part of the Nigerian Youth Academy is the community, the former community, that everybody outside the country, everybody, will come to that community. We want to get a view. Immediately I entered into Dubai, you saw the airport, you saw how people will tell you that if you must not do this, you must not do that, you must follow the rules. There are opportunities, there are esteemed things that we can do, there are some things that you know that I've been here for 14 years. If we do it this way, don't you think it will work for us? If you bring in this, don't you think we are going to make sure? And even when there is problem, and that is why Ministry of Youth is connected. Ministry of Youth, and again, Ministry of Women Affairs, not because she's there, is connected to all governmental ministry. You must be able to pick your phone when you have an help desk, when you have a community, that you have people, large numbers of people have reached out to me that are outside the country because of the access, open door policy. They've reached out to me and said, okay, this is what we want to do. And you have the opportunity to go and meet the fellow minister. The person is also a minister. Let me use Bumitunji Ojo as an example. BTO, Interior, Minister of Interior. You have the right to go and meet him and say, see, my youth is in so country. Sorry, what can you do? They are not able to get this. They are not able to do that. These are the things, because those people are those ones that also are going to help us. I was saying that I was on the X space for more than 3 hours, and I look at those people on the X space after I went back, because when I do anything, I will still go back and go and check. And I looked at them and I see that majority of those that are there are abroad, and they are feeling the pains, because when somebody abroad is there, trying to make sure that you are in Nigeria and you're okay, it's also feeling the pain. So it is a joint, or let me use it like this, it is a joint task force that is going to make an effort. So the community is there. It's going to be hope. It's even hope. It's life. You can go on Nigerian Youth Academy. It's life. We have the former youth, and we have the informal youth of those that are there at home, that they can't use their phones, they can't use their laptop, they can't use anything, but they're there. We have the separate distance for them, and we're working towards that. And we are timing ourselves. Whatever we can achieve now in the next 6 months, then we're in problem. That means we are not youth for youth. So it is not by talking. It is not by we want to do this. We started it already. And like I said, it's a process. When we gave up to us, they gave birth to you, they started crawling, they started doing all those things, and it's a process. And they should know there is a process. And what the most important thing that we are not talking about, and which you made mention about how UAE has been perfect, the experience that you have, even as a kid, the experience you have that happens to you, or you met yourself there, that happened to you, whatever way it is, when you were a kid, and you have been building on that experience, it will take some time for the memory to get out of you. And maybe if we have a leader that listens, if those former leaders have been making their door open, assessing the international community, maybe we wouldn't have gotten to that, because there's no place in the world that they don't have their bad people. Maybe if these conversations that we are doing now, maybe it has been in place before, maybe we have been communicating, maybe I would have go to Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a Minister of Youth. If I was a Minister of Youth then, I write to them and said, see, fine, we have the bad people. Even in your country, you have the bad people, but we still have the good ones. We still have the people that have ideas that can transform. We have a large numbers of people that have been in this country and they are doing very well. And it's everywhere. You are here. He is here. He has been in this country for over years. I just went to his restaurant. Citizen, I don't know he's here, but he's here. A large numbers of us are here and we are doing well. And we can even attract a lot of things to your community. And we are even contributing. Look at this woman, Fubara. She's here. And she has even worked with you in the country. So maybe we would have a connection, an engagement,
and you know,
which the president have started. And he has started it, and I can tell you for free that it's going to end well. And they are going to come up with whatever they want to come up, maybe because of, and we need, and that is for us, and that is for we. We need to protect our country. There is no country that does not have their bad ways. There is no country that does not have a bad image, or people don't say bad things about them. But it is whatever that comes out of us, and that is word of mouth. No matter how you have a journalist, you have a word of mouth is very important. What she says.
You know, to further buttress what you've said on Home Minister, you know, every country has their good and bad people. That's why I don't stereotype, I don't generalize, but we must also own up to our responsibility when it comes to safeguarding the people that we are as a country. We must, from the space I'm coming from, the police, they say when you see something, you must say something, so that we do something. Yeah. Sometimes we condone bad behavior. These bad people, we know them. We know when they're about to but sometimes we kind of turn our faces. No, we must know how to name them and shame them so that they do not spoil our name on a larger scale. Yeah. We must. I was the head of anti-human trafficking fight for Nigeria, DG NAPTIP. I know what's happening in the human trafficking space in the UAE when it comes to exploiting our own people, when it comes to even sexual, trafficking in the UAE. So this, when you see things like this, you must report it. That's what other citizens do. They don't condone, criminal minds amongst themselves. When I arrived yesterday, one of the reports I got from the immigration was that just this month we have deported 400 people. 400, not one, not 40. 400 people have been deported from the UAE, Nigeria. So you see, despite hardworking people like me and you, we still have some criminal minds that are jeopardizing our collective efforts. And we must rise against it. I must commend Mr. President and the team, for the efforts we're making to ensure that every part of the world is accessible for Nigerians. Yeah. We don't want to be stopped from going anywhere. We want to have access to the whole world, but collectively we also have a responsibility, 100%, to make sure that we're at our best. The media has a responsibility. We must continue to reorient ourselves and support ourselves when we deviate. When everybody saw hush puppy coming, everybody saw it, but nobody stopped it. People even indulged in this lifestyle. Maybe just a little bit of caution could have really brought him back on track. But we let hush puppy happen to hush puppy. So I think collectively we do have responsibility. Nigeria, we're so blessed and the future is so bright. Trust me, I've never seen a country as blessed as Nigeria. When it comes to numbers, when it comes to the natural resources, we're a blessed country. And this is the time for us, because we have the right leadership. It's the time for us to make the most of this opportunity. We're playing catch up. We have a population boom that's about to happen to the continent. We're going to triple in size in less than 30 years to come. What can we do now to ensure that we're well safeguarded, we're on the trajectory for growth, for our own collective prosperity and our national security? We must work as a team, and that's what our Minister just said, that it's a teamwork. That two heads are better than one, but you can imagine all of our heads put together, then it can be magic to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I'd say that's a good place to maybe hear from the audience, ideas, questions, concerns perhaps. I think that we've already set the stage for a collaborative conversation that is progressive in nature. So it'd be great to hear, our youth or youth leaders to speak. Patience, can we have the mic passed to Patience?
Sorry, permit me to stand.
Yes. So the cameras can see you as well.
Again, for those that just came in, my name is Patience, a social media influencer, and I usually do things for the youth. So, Mr. Honorable Ministers Ma and Sir, my question is, what do we do to Nigerian embassy in UAE to be active? Because as I speak to you, I feel they are inactive, because during this period of amnesty that Nigerians are trying to rectify their visas problems. Many Nigerians couldn't get visas because of the 3 years ban that we had, and during this amnesty UAE were able to open visas for us, and many of our members were trying to get visas but they couldn't. Along the line, some tried to even go to embassy to get their visa and passport renewed, but embassy will tell you we don't have booklet. But when they go outside and meet agent outside to pay extra money, which they call agent fee, like for sharp payment, the booklet will come out. Where is the booklet coming from? So these are the kind of things that our embassy are trying to bring us down instead of make way a bit easier for us. And again, another one is during this trafficking period of a thing, some ladies reached out to me on social media. Patience, this is what we are passing through. And then I told them, okay, for me to verify if it is true, send some pictures, some videos. They did send. And then I remember I had to go with one to the embassy because she said she wants to go home. The so-called boss is with her passport. And I said, okay, since you want to go and she's scared to go to the police, I took her to the police myself, and the police said, go to your embassy. We went to the embassy together, but the embassy did not listen to us, and they were supposed to protect us. If this lady is suffering from the hand of this guy, what are they supposed to do? And she came to report. At least they should help her be free from him, right? But the embassy is not helping. I'm sure many of you know that our embassy are not really helping us. So my own is, please talk to the embassy. They are here for us, and if we are not here, they will not be here as well. So they should be for us, just like how other embassies are here for their own citizens as well. One more, ma'am, regarding your Girl Child campaign, I also own a foundation called Pads and Menorah Care Foundation, and I've been trying from my own end. We do provide sanitary pads for the girl child in Nigeria. So my own point is, I feel pads shouldn't be sold. It should be something free, like the antiviral medication for HIV patients that is free. Sometimes people get HIV willingly because they want to misuse themselves. So why then get medication for free? And then I didn't make myself to be a woman. Nobody chose to be a woman. God made us to be a woman. And then PAD is something that we cannot do without. And right now, with the economic situation in Nigeria, an average girl child who don't even have a daily income or a monthly income cannot afford a single pad, and we know one pad will not be enough for one menstruation a month. So, and pad is very expensive. A pad now is about 1,000 naira, and not if a family like mine that we have 5 girls, and my dad is not able to his salary is not even up, is not enough. Maybe he's earning 100,000 in a month. We have to go to school, we have to eat, and then they have to keep some money for the future, or maybe perhaps hospital bills. We never can tell. And then each of us needs to get a pad every month, maybe 2 every month. How much is a pad? My dad will not be able to afford, and this leads to some girls going after men because they want to also survive. So we try by all means.
My job for me, so you see.
So what I do, that's my own way of contributing to the society, of getting part, and I share free at least 3 times a month. So I feel maybe you should come in through through your office, maybe at least in one local government, there should be like a hospital or like a clinic where girls will go.
Let's not skin the cat in one day. I get you.
No, that's just the idea I want to bring.
Yes.
So that at least girls can be going to take part from there every
You know, the
month.
reason why I said it in my speech is so that anybody here can pick what they feel where they would love to support. Because we can't all have the same, ideas or the same drive or the same passion towards things. And that's why I spoke about a lot of things, from green economy to the agro economy to the blue economy for women, and even for our youth. So now that you're interested in this, then it's something that you have to conceptualize and come and we discuss. Because trust me, the diasporans were good to support it. Let me give you a little story, because I like to tell stories. A few years ago, when I used to live in the UK, I was the chief operation officer for the $1 billion endowment funds for the police. Maybe that's why you took me to police affairs. I don't know. We're trying to raise $1 billion to revamp the police. We realized that in diaspora, we want to go back home. We want to go and invest home. We have family back home, but we need to secure our country. And that's why I dedicated myself to that particular cause of the police endowment fund of $1 billion then. And then the first launch we did, it was in the UK at the embassy. And Kanuk and Naido said, every month we'll be donating £1. That is £1 million. Because then they had a strength of about $1 million. So you see, Nigerian diasporas, they want to commit themselves to a cause. They used to doing charities. But we have to structure as a country. I was conversing with you. I said, because you're used to proven systems, you feel that that's the same with Nigeria. No. Sometimes you have to bring the concepts to us, because we're dealing with a lot of gaps. So you have to come prepared. You don't just sit and say, oh, they're not supporting us. You have to sometimes come and say, oh, Minister Iman, this is how we want to be supported in this regard. Oh, Minister Wisdom, this is what we need for you to do for us in these areas. And this is a concept. That way, automatically, you assume a role of a critical stakeholder. It's not enough to criticize on the social media platforms. We have left that role. We must assume our most patriotic selves. We must bring it forward on the table for us to be able to transform our country. Because we all agree that our country is great, and you spoke about the embassies, and I think that is something that we must take up on. And on this note, I'd like to speak about investigative reporting. It's not enough for you to say that, oh, when they go through the agents, these booklets appear. No, I would like you to document it. Because when there's a proof, we can address it. Otherwise, what if they say, no, it's not true? It didn't happen. So it's your word against theirs. Please come with proof. We want the systems to work. We want a better Nigeria. And it's going to be done collectively as a team.
Okay, when we come with proof, please, I want you to provide us with channels where we can get that.
We have he runs an open door policy, I run an open door policy. Has he anybody that comes to my office and not see me? One house. And then we keep working on the channels as well. Trust me, we keep, because we want those channels to open for everybody. But we have the youth desk. He runs open door, I run open door. Many ministers these days run open door. In fact, I tell them, leave my door open in my office. I want to see who's coming in and out. So yes, we'll get it right together, but you also have to.
Those upload it to the
Yes, thank you. I
will reach out.
Thank you, honorable ministers. I also
There's
have
two
a
more
personal.
questions.
Yes, and I'll get to them.
No,
I
I
just
have all
wanted
the
to.
time. I'm not doing it. So I can sleep here. I agree with you.
I was going to say that at the end of all this, and just to be completely frank, I did speak to someone who had invited, and she was like, "Oh, what's the point?" And I said, "Listen, nothing is ever 100% guaranteed. However, if there's a window, we want to take advantage, because even if it's a 10% chance, that is something." So my personal wish and hope and aspiration that at the end of this, there is a channel that we can hold on to here in the, I don't know about those in the UK or US, Canada, sorry, but I know about those in the UAE. I'm hoping that there can be some channel that we can hold on to say, you know what, that didn't end in this room. We can always take it forward. So I'd like to take all the questions bunched together so that the ministers can address them at the same time. But now I'd like to hear from one of our employers of labor or two. So we have employers of labor here. good number of them who employ Nigerian youths as well. I know you both are very passionate about business and entrepreneurship because ultimately, how can our youth thrive? It's not about sitting down and waiting for government to give you a job. It is use that energy, that passion, that drive, those ideas, create something that would become a solution for others and even for your ministry as well. Families, we need our families to thrive, and some of them will thrive based on business. So from our entrepreneurs here, employers of labor, we have Mr. Kiza, we have Mr. Enish. I had Madam Biggie, she walked in. I hear that Minister Wisdom has been eating from Biggie. I don't know if you got the chance to meet her. She's here in the room. I saw her. We have Mr. Freeborn, who's the owner of DSD Media. So a number of people. We have Boson all the way from Abu Dhabi, who owns the first and perhaps the only, is it still the only Nigerian real estate company in Abu Dhabi? They were the first and very likely the only Nigerian real estate company. He makes it a point of duty to hire only Nigerians, right? So we have employers of labor. We'd like to hear from you. The ministers are here. My own is just to moderate. Over to you, Saz and Maz. Biggie, I know Biggie's there, so let Biggie open the door and then we'll take more comments. Don't worry.
I don't need mine.
I know, let's use the mic because everybody's watching online. It's recording.
Okay.
You see what I said? I know what I was doing. I called to you.
Good evening, Master. I have one or two things today regarding what Sister Fisher just said regarding the embassy. That's where I'm going to start my home. And 2 years ago, immigration come to my office and pack 7 of my staff. And I go down to embassy and consulate. Nobody attend to me. Nobody. I think this case was like 2 years that I'm going in and out. But thank God everything is solved. But at the end of the case, the immigration man and the lawyer said, who is your president? Which is this time is during Buhari regime. So I said, I said, you don't have president. You cannot be a lady coming to this place for the past 2 years and nobody come from your embassy, nobody come from your consulate. It's only you. This is very sad. He said, because we see your strength, that you have put a lot of stress in this case. We are going to die this case. We don't have any case with you. Only what they are dragging with me because I employ people that they didn't have visa. So I have to make them partner on my own license. I put them on my license up to this moment.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you pay taxes in Nigeria?
Ma, I'm not living in Nigeria. I'm living in Dubai. My business is here.
Okay, so let me put some things into perspective. Now we're talking as a family, as a team. I'm not trying to undermine anybody's effort when it comes to, personal growth, or when it comes to developing Nigeria. Let me give you a context from the migration, because I was the DG migration for Nigeria. So I handled all the returns, the migration policy of Nigeria was domiciled with my agency. And I've been able to kind of put it at par with other migration policies from other countries. In most countries, the Britain, America, regardless of where you live, you pay taxes. You know what those taxes are meant for? For emergency, for contingency, so that the country can service you when you need it. Let me speak about Philippines. Well, as long as you own a Philippines passport and you work in any country, you must pay them taxes every month because they have to service your passport. In Nigeria, those things do not exist, and that's why we don't even provide the services properly. In Nigeria, we evacuate for free. For free. If there's crisis, during Sudan, we evacuated for free. It cost Nigeria lots of millions of dollars. During Ukraine, we evacuated for free. These are students that their own parents took them to school. Nigeria didn't know when they were taking the children to school. But Nigerian government had to evacuate for free. During COVID, we had free interventions as well. During COVID, during these evacuations, the only people the American government or UK government takes is their own embassy staff. Any other person has to pay for evacuation. So we're kind of getting enough proper. Sometimes we get it right, we're compassionate, we tend to breed over dependency. Sometimes we don't do things properly, and that's why we need this policy. And that's what I'm saying, we have to do things properly now. And I told them when we were reviewing the migration policy, I said, for everybody who has a Nigerian passport, must give us something back. That way they can say that we're paying our taxes, you're not doing this for us. It's not free. Do you understand? It's tied to something. Like the Philippines. I have a Filipino nanny. If anything happens to her, the embassy is calling me because she pays $100 every month to Philippines. If she has any issues, they say, oh, we had that, she would like to go back. And I'll say yes. And then they have to also provide for her to go back, because when we're doing the labor review in Geneva, the Philippines, they came with 7 ministers because that's their mainstay, labor migration. All their migrants outside pay, and then that's the main source of GDP. Do you understand? So as Nigerians, we have to review all these policies. Do you know why maybe you're not getting attention to this? It's because maybe there's nothing tied to you being here as a Nigerian. There's no records. Do you understand? When you were moving, there's no paperwork.
I have all my record, ma.
I mean with the government, that part between the citizens and the government does not exist. And that's why
you
maybe...
mean back to Nigeria? Or UAE?
When it comes to legal, the legal backing.
Okay.
For the kind of protection you get. Okay. I'm a protection specialist.
Yes, ma'am.
So you being in UK should be well protected by your government. And that does not exist for Nigerian citizens. And that's something that we must put in place. So that when you're out somewhere and you have a Nigerian passport.
Ben, I want to ask a question for that.
Yes.
In UAE, do we have system for that?
Yes, they do. They do. You cannot be in the. Do you know some people live outside Nigeria and Nigerians don't even know about it. The embassies don't know about it. Only when your passport expires. But in other countries, as soon as you leave your country, they know. Do you understand? There's a trace.
Okay.
There's a record, and there are systems for you to be able to do that. You must declare it. Do you understand? So as a country, we're not doing this properly, and we must do it properly. And it's not only there's only boils down to the government. The government will take the lead, but everybody must be prepared for that new migration policy. I feel your pain. I feel for the fact that you had to go through it alone. You shouldn't have gone through it alone, but we should use your case as an example so that next time it doesn't happen to anybody who is a legitimate business owner and is a different country.
And I'm paying my VAT. I'm doing everything in this country.
I know. I know. Well,
thank God for
you don't
everything.
really get me, but I get you 100%. That you have to be protected in the future. You must be able to address it from a policy angle, so that whatever he's doing is legal. So that when you don't even get protection, you can even sue. But now there's no basis for that because that piece of legal instrument does not exist. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't exist. Do you understand? So we must be able to protect you better, and you must be able to also, support the government to protect you. And I'm sure that once we get that right, that won't happen to anybody, because we have many business owners like you, people who are even aspiring. Just like Mr. Wisdom said, we're not against migration. I was leading migration, initiatives for Nigeria. So I'm for legal pathways. We have enough people to export. The UK, or most of these Western worlds, they're declining by their manpower to up to the tune of 70% decline when it comes to, their working population, up to 70%, like Canada. They're losing their working population. So where are they going to get the people to work for them? And that's why they're going automated. So if we have enough people to export in Nigeria who will go and learn the skills, it will be a brain game for us. So we're not against migration, but we're for legal pathways so that it's a win-win. And that's why I think one thing we should advocate for is a strengthened migration policy so that every migrant in Nigeria is protected. That should be the conversation, because you can't just boil down to your own experience, because other people are going to experience it if we do not address it. And that's what, sometimes you go through something so that it does not affect other people. So other people do not experience it. So I feel your pain, but it's a lot of other issues, policy issues, there's a lot of other compounding issues. That's what I'm hearing you say, and it has provoked my thinking.
Even this case,
yes.
I run to Abike Dabiri.
Yes.
If you communicate with her, you can ask her.
Yes.
She's telling me that why do you employ people that don't have visa? I said, ma, I'm in Nigeria, I employ Nigeria. So you can tell me this?
No, but just like I told you, it's more than you can see. It's more than you can see. In as much as you want to employ Nigerians, like I said, we advocate for legal pathways. In Nigeria, if you come and employ anybody that does not have visa, we also have consequences.
No, I mean visa for them. Yes. But this period, yes. We don't have visa. Nigeria don't have visa at all in Dubai.
I understand. Because of what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, so we just have to kind of look at the migration policy. That's what I'm hearing you say. that it's not working for us, and then we can do
think-
better
I
to protect
think-
our people?
Yes.
Yes.
It still boils down on protection.
Yes, it's a protection
And
issue, yeah.
Like what she's trying to say, I should just brief it so that we won't keep on talking about the protection view of it. Is that you can see that the president is putting on policies, new policies, bringing on even tax reform policies.
Yeah.
A lot of people go against it because they don't know. And one of those things he is saying is that even if you're in Nigeria and you are still, your company or whatever is still at 50 million, you don't need to pay tax. That there must be some level of protections, review of so many things, because don't forget, our country, most of our policies, I was checking through the policy of young people, youth, and that, even the NYC that we do, the service code that we do, most of all these policies are military policies. So me and you know when military is in charge of something, you know how they make their policies and all that. So we are at the point of, I'll use the mantra of what we use as a government, renewing the hope of the people. And like you said, like we said before, it was not as good as this for the president to come all the way from the country to come to UAE to come and say, see, enough, I'm the president, I'm accountable for the issues, for the problems of people that cannot get visa and people that are even living here that have no path and ways to go. I'm accountable for it. So please, do this, do this, do this for me. Okay, we've offended you, we've done this, we've done that, but let's start the process. Let's make sure that we do this. These are what we are going to do. These are what you two are going to do and all that. Very soon, all this process. And that is why again and again and again, this engagement is important. So that we have something to bring back to the table and say, see, this is what is happening to the young people in UAE. How can we review this policy? Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this is our report. How can we work on this report as soon as possible? Is it part of those things that the president is discussing with the government of UAE? Well, we know. If it is part of it, then we put it aside because we know that it's a process, we are going to get there. If it is not part of it, we'll say, okay, what can we do to protect? And that is why I made mention of it and emphasized more on protection. That we must not protect just only those people in the country. Those are outside the country. She was also explaining to you, but apparently the way she explained it, no, she's the Ministry of Police Affairs. And she wants to know how police people do. We are bringing her out gradually. And you know, she also have this background of policing and how to make sure that things. So what she was trying to explain is that the problem majorly, which is right, and when you look at the presidential chats last week, they asked me a question about how we Nigerians, and I also made mention of it here, that when I got into this country talking to people, I saw how orderly things are being done. And I asked myself, I was still telling the CEO of Adeniyi Group that don't do this, don't park here, stay here, do this, do that. You can't do this in Nigeria. They will turn it to another thing for you. They will say that you have come and do this, to come and do that. We don't have, and the president mentioned of that. See, we don't even have as a country that level of re-engineering and mentality and thinking about how to make things done orderly. And maybe if people like you abroad too start the campaign, start engaging those of our people at home and said, see, if you want to do this, you need to do this. 60 to 70% of people are not even paying tax at all. All the revenues that are coming to make things happen in the country are coming from the oil. That is the reason why we're inside this mess too. And that is why a lot of policies are opening doors so that we can go back to this, so that we are not going to stand on only one thing. Because a lot of, I was in Paris. I paid for hotel. And they asked me to pay local government tax. And I was asking, what's the meaning of local government tax? Why would you ask me to pay local government tax? Because even as a minister, I don't have the knowledge of it until they explain to me that the hotel is being built under one local government and it's being maintained. And they will come for this, they will come for that, they will come and check, they will do this, they will do that. I don't know. But you can ask, you can call that, correct me if I'm wrong. You can't tell me that in Nigeria.
No, we pay here also.
No, I know. I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you that you can't tell me to pay for that in Nigeria. That's local government. How? So, and that is why the president is also bringing up the tax reform bills and to see how we can work in line. Those that are ready to do this should do this. Those that are not ready to do this should not do this. Those that should really pay. And he also made mention of it, that one of his friends was choosing Rolls Royce 5, 6, and 7, and the last time he came to him, he was using Corolla, Honda or something, Honda, and he answered, why is that? That is the situation you put me into. And I've been in my friend's house for some time, and I saw him 2 vehicles. I asked him, why are people not parking other vehicles here? So that in Nigeria you have 7, 8 luxurious that you want to fare with this, and you can't even fare it. Yeah. And that is why we are saying that
we need the reforms.
The reforms should happen.
Biggie, we love your energy.
So that what the president said when he was coming, that let the poor breathe.
Breathe, yes.
They don't know where it's going to. And that is where it's going to. Let the poor breathe.
Yes.
A lot of people will say, things are high. We must do all those things so that we will get, and that is why the future is important. Yeah. And that is why I'm saying that everything that this government is doing now, the renewable agenda mantra that we all need to support, is for the young people. It's not for the old man. That is why the legacy.
Let me round up by saying
it is a legacy that we're trying to put up, and the government is trying to put up.
Yes. Okay. Don't feel deflated. I love your energy. I love the fact that your future thinking. We must do things right. We must work together towards achieving it, so that it doesn't happen to somebody else. There's a reason why you went through it.
Yes.
So we're here. We'll talk about it, see how we can be able to avoid it from happening, and then no matter what, we must abide by the laws of the land, regardless.
Thank you. The second one about the labor. Sorry, please.
Yes. Can we, so that we can give opportunity to other people? So you can ask, but maybe they'll answer afterwards, because we're nearing the end of the
we're talking about the youth. And I have a company, I'm in Nigeria.
I know. We want to take questions from other people.
I want to employ in Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian, and I love to employ my people. And I employ Nigeria in my business. For example, our visa here is 2 years. So you sign a contract with me that you're going to work with me for 2 years. And these 2 years, maybe just after 5 months, you can just wake up and say that I'm not going to work again, I want to cancel my visa. You didn't even think about the pains, the money that I put together to make that visa for you. The next thing, you just take me to labor. And we said we should employ Nigeria. We said we should employ youth, we should empower ourselves. Me as a person, I'm done with Nigeria youth. I don't employ Nigeria anymore. I'm a Nigerian, but I don't employ Nigeria in my business anymore.
I think that one is internal family discussion. We need to talk to each other with the youth. So we'll take maybe 2 questions, and we can begin to wrap with some. So please avoid mentioning any of the things that have been talked about. If it's labor and trafficking, NGO, anything related to anything that's been discussed.
Hello everybody. My name is Ijoma. So I used to own a salon last year. We closed in June of this year. We ran the salon for just 1 year, and just like Madam Biggie, I employed Nigerians that we couldn't give them visa, but thank God nothing went wrong. But due to the deportation of Nigerians, I lost a lot of customers. My salon was in Satwa, so it was a targeted area. They deported a lot of Africans, okay? So we couldn't continue and we closed after 1 year. Now what I want to ask is there a way? And also, I was discussing with Mr. Tony and Chioma earlier. We're talking about how sometimes you go for job interviews and they say Nigerians not accepted. Like they tell you to your face, the job is available, but where are you from? Nigeria, sorry, we can't employ you. And And I think that's why a lot of us Nigerians, when we own businesses, we try to employ ourselves because other people will not give us the opportunity to work and earn. And in Dubai, if you don't work, you cannot survive here. So is there a way the government can maybe have an agency or a group that can sponsor small businesses so that we can help ourselves in Dubai? So let's say I want to own a small store, I want to own a grocery shop or something. Is there a way, an agency or a group that we can write to and tell them that we need this amount so that we can have this business and employ our own people, since other companies will not employ us?
Thank you. So we'll not answer just yet. I know they're taking notes. And just to chip in, I know that the African Development Bank has some initiatives. So sometimes you might not even be creating something new. It might just be that the government already knows about existing channels. And I'm not answering for them, but it's just my journalist I'm speaking. Can we have the next question?
Hi friends, I'm Citizen Olatosi, and a very big thank you to the ministers. I really appreciate this engagement. There should be engagement all the time. If we had been having something like this, especially in the last administration, I think Nigerians in UAE will not be in this mess that we have. And if we want to start talking about the embassy and the consulates, we might spend all day here, especially the embassy. Mr. Minister, sir, Madam, when will the President appoint ambassador? I know UAE is not the only country that's affected, but I feel that if we have ambassador, some of the problems that have been discussed here will not come up, because the last ambassador we have is a write-off. And the embassy themselves, even till now, you were saying you need evidence. You will get evidence, you will tire. As of tomorrow, we can give you 5. And that is what is happening. And they complain there's no booklet. The complaint is there's no booklet. So, sir, if you can use your power, communicate with the Minister of Interior. So, if I thought there's no booklet, they should help us bring booklet. This is the time our people need a booklet more. And another thing, I'm surprised that the embassy and the consulates, their representatives are not here. They should be here so that all these things we are saying to their faces, and from government to government also, you guys can collaborate and solve all this problem for us. Another thing about our government not knowing we are here, since it is the new administration now, we have a new consular. Some months ago we were in a meeting and we're letting them know about all the proposals were proposed to the last administration of the last guys, and they were just putting them aside. For instance, the consular card, where all Nigerians in UAE will be duly registered, and people, they will know that this is Mr. Joe, he owns Keezer. This is Mr. Freeboard, he owns this business. This is Madam Biggie, and everyone. So that when issue happen, like Madam had last time, somebody can come up for help. Paying taxes in Nigeria, is the system there? No. But when we have a problem, as a Nigeria that is far away from home, we see the embassy and the consulate, we see them as our father here. So you run into your father and they cannot help, it's disheartening. Another thing is, there are some other guys that stand outside the embassy. Please, sir, help us to use your power and talk to them. There are many embassies around there. Nigeria cannot be the only embassy that is militant. All those businesses can be done online. For me, myself, we're waiting for a new ambassador to come, then we can discuss all this. We cannot be posting everything on social media. If we want to be posting, now I'm a bit calm because the new administration is there. We are looking at their body language, and so far, you guys have been doing a good job. It's not 100%. The president came. Till now, there's no visa for Nigeria. Sir, till now, there's no visa. There's no work permit. The only grace we had recently is because there is amnesty. And even for the first 2 months of amnesty, our guys cannot get visa. It was until the last week of the first 2 months. So I don't know what will happen from 2 days from now when amnesty will finish. And how do people get visa? So Nigerians cannot get visa here. Nigerian visit visa also. People cannot get visit visa to come. So we need the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to still intervene. I know that there's a lot of memorandum of understanding that is still pending. They can work towards all this. Other countries here, Philippines, Uganda, and all, are enjoying working here because their government are active. The labor laws between government to government favors them. For us, we don't have all those. And the time is due already.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. We can take one last question contribution, and then we'll have our honorable ministers respond. You did.
No, we are already thinking solutions, and there are lots of problems that.
Nobody wants to say anything else?
I want to say something regarding amnesty. Amnesty? Yes, when they said we have amnesty, for me we don't have amnesty. Because when they said amnesty is for everybody, in these 2 months they first pick all Nigerians and deport them.
So we're still in sin.
And they are, if you say they deport from them, they are not like that. In the month of October, they go to my manager and one of my dishwasher into the accommodation, and they took them, just 2 of them, because there are only 2 of them in Nigeria in that apartment. I've been in this country, there's no jail that I didn't go to do this at October. Like I'm just from one jail to another jail. I go there, I go to a stage, I go to Omar. I can't Nigerian name in the cell. Man, I'm crying. There are over 800. They are in the cell. In October, I go back to my house crying that do I get it wrong to come to this country? In the month of October, and they are still doing it. They don't stop. They go to any apartment, they pick one in Nigeria and deport without no reason. One visa or the visa.
Thank you. So take that as the last question, concern, contribution. And we'll have the honourable ministers respond to that. But more importantly, as you respond to that, we'll be keen on, because this will be the final word, on that channel that we hope we can take advantage of going forward. Ultimately, there are concerns. It is, if you talk to A, maybe A is not responding, let's talk to B, let's talk to C. Not that you only have A to talk to and A is not doing anything and so you're done for. So we would love to get a gift, perhaps, which would be that channel that we can say, okay, we have something that we can, another door that we can knock on. So please do respond and also give us your final words. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for this family meeting, for the honesty. You can see that a lot of personal things have come out. It shows that we're truly, rebuilding the trust and restoring the confidence, which is very, very key for us to be able to build a better Nigeria. Secondly, as you may all be aware, this concerns are multi-sectorial. So it's not up to one person to solve. I hear foreign affairs, I hear immigration, I hear the diaspora commission, I hear a lot of implementing agencies. I even hear the migration agency of Nigeria, which is the refugee commission. So what I'm hearing you say right now is that we need that platform whereby, because we have one for the ministers, but we need an implementing platform whereby most of these cases that we get can just go in there, and then our own aides can follow up to ensure that they get to a logical conclusion. And then thirdly, we also have to think of ways that we can engage our citizens. I like what citizen Oluwatosin said, that he doesn't take now identity to the public, because that's what has gotten us here. Other citizens do a lot of bad things elsewhere, but they don't publicize it, so they get away with it until they're able to reform. Yes. But for Nigerians, we post everything about in-house or outside the country, so we overexpose ourselves. And that's the importance of that platform can never be overemphasized. So I want us to put heads together to be able to provide these channels, these pathways for us to engage and solve our problems. We have the Gen Zs here, we have the maybe Generation Alphas here. So what are these platforms that we need? Where can citizens engage with governments and get results? So that's something that we have to come together and be able to profile. Because obviously what we have, they're not working. And you can see him here. By the time you get to Nigeria, to see him now is a different thing entirely. Do you understand? But we want to be able to be better accessed. I tell people that once you're high, you go. That's why they say it's only at the top. They cage you, they cocoon you, and a lot of things that happen you do not know. I want to be able to open that up. Thank God you have very young and fresh, people, that are in the homes of affairs. So how are we better accessible? How can we be able to, sit like this more often to be able to address these concerns around immigration, around labor rights, around protection issues for our citizens inside or outside Nigeria? Trust me, there's a lot of work to be done. And like I said, it comes from the policy angles, and that's what we do as ministers. We don't implement most of these policies, but we enact them. So the more we know, the better we can do when it comes to, when it comes to refreshing our policies, when it comes to, even creating more policies around issues that concern us. Our numbers should count. We should be able to operate anywhere in the world. And that's why I said we're for, legal, or we're for regular migration. Do you understand? But how do we make it work for us so that Nigeria is also benefiting? Every little adds up. How much was the remittance from diaspora last year? It's in hundreds of, billions. But, it's in billions of dollars. It's a lot. Just remittance. So imagine if we have, strengthened migration policy that enables our people and protects them better to be able to employ Nigerians. And lastly, I would like for us to also, tell ourselves the truth. We don't conduct ourselves properly. Imagine if you had a security guard or you had an adopted child in your home, and the adopted child maybe comes to rape somebody in your family, or he comes to kill somebody. Are you going to condone him? Are you going to trust anybody that's coming from that area? So we have to also conduct ourselves. This is a period of cleanse for Nigeria, for us to reposition ourselves as a people, to clean our name. I've engaged with the government of this country on different levels when it comes to security issues, when it comes to them being able to they love Nigerians, they know that we're all not bad. The ambassador for the UAE in Nigeria is my very good friend. He even calls me my sister. So they even want to open doors for Nigerians, but they don't want to do it at the expense of their people. You told me what their vision is, to be the best place to work, to play, and to live. So they don't want anybody to come and spoil it because you're going into a house and killing the family, or because you're going to rob a bank. Do you understand? They don't want anybody to spoil it. Maybe other people have done it, but I've never heard of any citizen that's going to rob a bank. Daylight robbery, I've never heard of it. Do you understand?
They don't put it out there.
Aha! So you see? So it's only our own that they hear about. So please, we have a lot of work to do. Trust me, we cannot solve issues based on individual experiences. No, we have to solve it from the policy angle. And trust me, we have the best diplomats, we have the best, policy experts that can come together and protect us as a people. All we have to do is to be very, very sincere and intentional when it comes to our response for any sector, for any efforts that we make as government. But we can do this together. That's what I want to do today. That our doors are open, that we're here for all of us. And I thank you all for this opportunity to meet you all and to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think she said it all, but it won't be good if I don't say this. I will start from to buttress more what you said last. Everybody, and I will go back to when we were talking about leadership and followership. And you will agree with me that nobody can come to your territory and turn your territory to another thing, and you will be happy with it. Fine. You will also agree with me that majority of these things are also being posted by Nigerians. on social media, on social platforms. And one of those things that we don't know as young people, as Gen Z, is that the more you post bad things, the more you yourself affect you. Because we don't see, I've tried as much as possible to read that spellings on most of the young people. I asked myself, even the social media we're talking about, have you ever seen an old person on social media abusing or cursing the country? Go to any country. Look at the mottos and the visions of what they talked about this country for a place that you must be to be comfortable. When you go to America in itself, Americans, they will tell you, God bless America, God do this. Even when America is boiling, they will still say, God bless America. We saw it clearly. A lot of us that follows the elections, we see what happened at the election, the just concluded elections. But when it comes to Nigeria, they said, you bribe people, you do this, you do that, the leaders are poor and they are corrupt, they are this, they are the most corrupt country. We are not the most corrupt country. And let me say this, we can't have it so good the way you think everybody can never be the same. The way I was brought up will be different from the way other people are brought up. And the way that we act is different from the way other people will act. So that is why I agree with her that individual differences sometimes may not scat, but we need it, and that is as urgent as possible. And it's going to start from all of us. And that is why you see the elderly people, they will tell you that the word of mouth goes more far than whatever medium you are taking to put up your information. That is why the government have orientation agency and others. We need to do aggressive engagement, one-on-one engagement with a lot of our people. And that is why I love what my brother said. I know him very well, I follow him very well. That is what I love what he said, that he's not posting things. You see, anybody can just post something and they will tell you that this thing is this, is that. And meanwhile, it's not even happening in Nigeria. And they will tag it with Nigeria. And that is what I discovered. I was on social media for a very long time. My page, it got to a stage, I turned my page to readings and joke. So I just come and joke and laugh out your problems because of the pressure that we have in the country. So for me, the country is ours. I want everybody to see Nigeria as your country. There is no place today, God forbid, if there is nobody inside UAE today, there's nothing we will call UAE. All these buildings are not UAE. It's because of the people that are inside UAE. That is why UAE is still existing. If any war happens, go to places that have been war. Nothing. Everything is granted. And until you started seeing it as, I am Nigeria. Or we started doing the campaign, and that is one of the campaigns we need now. So that even the generations that are coming behind us, we know that what we've painted ourselves is not black. Don't let them call us because they call us black. Then we just start behaving like black. In fact, you will go to a stage that when we put on black, you will see how beautiful black is. So we must start it now. It is a collective rescue mission between you, myself, and the government. That we must start painting our country white, or whatever we call it. We must start telling them that you have a Zara in UAE that has been in UAE for a very long time. And she's a young girl and she's doing wonderfully well. We must start posting it on social media influencers, bloggers. You will discover that it's bloggers that say bad things about the country just for them to sell their blogs. But don't forget, you can also say a lot of things that are happening in the country that are good. Nobody is talking about local government autonomy. Nobody is talking about, you won't see bloggers carrying it because it's a good news. And they will think maybe, okay, the good news cannot be spread. You won't see them saying that this tax reform is for the poor. It's for those people that cannot do anything. It's a word of mouth. And social media goes more viral than anything nowadays. And you will even see that even China's TVC, they're also having a link to social media so that people can get their news and all that. If you ask me, outside my phone, I don't like TVs anymore. because I can easily get those informations there. And that is the generation we are dealing with. So I'm begging, there's a plea, there's an appeal, even to those that are elderly people that are within us and all that. There's an appeal to them that we have gotten to the stage that we need to start putting and information to our people, telling them that, see, it is time to start changing the narrative we have about the country. It is time for us to start driving it in different dimensions. It is time to start talking to even the kids that were. The more you talk to your kids, and when people say, what is the solution to this problem? What is the solution? I said the solution is to go back to the secondary school, is to go back to the primary school, to start telling them that these are the things we are doing before. These are the things we need to do. And lastly, so that I won't take your time, we are running an open door policy. And if you can't engage physically, you can engage through the digital way also. And most of these platforms that I'm mentioning too, they're online, they are live, very live. And nobody's going to go on these platforms and say, no, nobody will respond to you. And that is why I said, even in a couple of weeks, we are going to have a settings. I've also looked at, and that is why I told one of my people that, but our leaders come to this country. They see how things work. Even if we cannot do it 100%, at least let's do 70-60%, so that at least we improved on it. And anybody coming again will start improving on it, because we are going to put everybody on their toes. And again, we've also, this government have also made this, that wants to create an avenue, that we also have people that work with the government, that can talk to ourselves, that can do a lot of things, that can make sure that we listen to them, even if you cannot reach me, but you have somebody here that you can reach. We want to put it up to have different people that work with each ministry, that are representing the face of the government, like SSA, SA, and which she is going to do. I have one already. Mr. Dario Adini as an SA. You can talk to these people. They will bring it to us, even if you cannot go on the website. We have people that you can talk to. We are now, and that is why we call it Renew Hope Agenda. We want to renew your hope. And that is why for the first time since 1999, a lot of people said, and I love it when they ask the president, answer me, who is in my cabinet that is not capable to do this? And we are saying it. People like me, we are saying, we are not even ministers the way you call us. Fine, that is the office that is given to us. Fine, that is the office we are holding. That is the ministry. But we are the servant of the people. We want to do this work. When people said, when you don't see people working, that is mean they are corrupt. They are taking anyone's money. They are embezzling money. For me, my whole distance to that is that the more you work, the more you see money. But the less you don't work, that's the less the person will say you have taken all the country money. But when you see me working and my eyes are open, if you open your eyes to me, I will open my eyes to you. If you open your teeth, I open my teeth. If you carry leg, I carry leg. You open your hands, I open my hand. Then you will see that we can solve the problem together. Nobody is an island of knowledge. All the things we've gathered here today, we might have not have gathered it, and like citizens said, if we've had this conversation several times for other governments that have moved to this country, we will not be here at all. And that is why the engagement is very important to me. And I can tell you for free, the next engagement we are going to have it so more larger than this. So that we bring, then, like I said, we did not answer that question. I have not answered the question, but I will just put a light in the question. Very soon we are going to have the ambassador, right? And when you have ambassador, we have everybody. We will still come back again to come and meet, and all of us will sit down. It may be at the what do they call it? The office. The embassy. We may have it larger even outside the embassy and say, see, let's even come together. Let's start projecting some things that are different. And don't forget, everything started somewhere. So we started now. And it's going to continue. If it is every 5 months, if it is every 6 months, I want to have an engagement. And it's not going to be only in Dubai, but for you in Dubai. And I can tell you that everything have a reason for what is happening to us. It's a reason. And that reason is what we are putting in place, that we are going to make sure. I don't give my words. I put the outside, I put back a little bit when I want to give my words. But we are your servant. We are serving the people now. We've put it to ourselves. And I've said it, and I'm going to say it openly. It is only when you don't have the character that you will not serve your people. It is only when you are not committed that you don't make the people first. That is when you will sit back and think 1 billion of naira will come and meet you. And all these things happen because we have people that are not competent. They don't really have a zeal. They don't make the people first. They are not committed. They don't have the competence. And they lack character. But now we have a president that listens. That's the truth. We have a president that is workaholic. We have the president that wants to leave a legacy. We have the president that is not thinking about his pocket or his family. We have a president that will sit down and ask him questions. You must be able to convince him before he can come up with things. And let me say this again. We are having all these your complaints very soon. By next year, we are going to have a confab. The confab is not going to happen in any room. I've been saying it and I'll continue saying it. We are putting this confab back to the grassroots. And it's not only going to happen at the grassroots, it's going to happen on X space. We've never had those kind of confab before in the country. The confab is going to happen on different countries. We are going to make sure that even people outside the country will contribute to this confab. And we put those contributions together, we announce it, and we now make it a governmental something that, okay, this one will go into policy, executive order. This one will go into National Assembly, legislative aim, and this one will go into judiciary. We are going to put all this together to make sure that we are driving this country in something that's what all of us, and we're working with the president, is that I want unborn child, all those ones that are coming behind us, to come and tell you, we don't know where we are going to be. But to make mention of it, that this is what this Renew Hope has bring to the country, both inside and outside. We want a legacy. I want my name to be mentioned even when I'm not there. I want to build the structure. I want to build the name. I want to build a lot of things that a lot of people will talk about. And that is why we are putting everything. And you can see the way she's talking, there's a passion for this. We're committed. And we will not take it for granted. And that is why we are not also take this engagement for granted. It's going to come up again. I can assure you of that. Maybe in the next 4 months, maybe in the next 5 months. I won't tell you every month because I won't tell you what I cannot do.
Thank you very much.
So we are here for you. Thank you for moderating us. Thank you for looking at us. Thank you for hearing us. And for those that are online, yes, we have a lot of people online. For those that are online, this is your country. Let us build it together. It can only be better for all of us. It can only be better if you start posting online that good things are happening in this country. It can only be better if you know that it's your mother tongue and you believe that this government wants to renew our hope. The hope is there. It's just for us to believe in it. And we are going to get there. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In closing, my closing statement is for us to just reflect back to 2015. Nigeria was in the same place with Egypt. The then President Buhari and President Sisi came into power at the same time. I don't know if you've been to Egypt recently, but I was there 2 years ago, and what I saw was an emergence of a world-class country. What changed? When I asked from person to person, what I found is that the patriotism has gone to a different level. It was Project Egypt. They believed in themselves as a people to be able to transform their country. They believed in the leadership, and they were ready for a new Egypt. If you go to Sharm el-Sheikh, it's probably more beautiful than some places in the UAE. It's a brand new city. In a nutshell, we can do it. Mr. President means well. I personally see him as the best thing that's happened to Nigeria. There's nothing like a listening leader, nothing like that. Whereby he says that I'm not perfect. When I make mistakes, I will listen and make adjustments. And that's why I would like to invite us all. If you're in this room, or you're online, you belong to the 1%, the upper 1% that can build Nigeria. All these seats you're seeing are collectively ours. I tell people that we're all Minister of Women Affairs. Because as long as you can come in contact with me, it means that you can influence the work that I do. It means that you can use the platform to birth your ideas. And on this premise, I'd like to invite you all to think of how you can support the emergence of the global dreams, because we can do it. A few months ago, while I was in the police affairs, a guy came from the UAE, and he said that, look, the UAE do their surveillance in a different system. He saw our command center at the police headquarters, and he saw the proposal for our emergency numbers, and he said, oh, we can do better. I have this company, they're UAE, they're the ones who run the one for the UAE, and they're even willing to do it for us. And at the PPP, framework, which is better because it means that we don't have to deploy so much resources. But that guy never came back to me. I had gone to canvass support for this particular project that will require a lot of commitment from the government. I had got to speak to, everybody that I needed to speak to in the police ecosystem to get their buy-in. But the guy never came. So let's come with sincere, finished products whereby we can just kind of do a bit of adjustments and deploy, including your own, period poverty campaign. Remember that when you speak about period poverty in some countries, women is just 10 million. Nigeria is almost about 100 and something million people. So we have the numbers. So we're talking about big projects in Nigeria. It's not the same with other countries, whereby they're less than 1 million or they're just 10 million. Nigeria, we have a lot of numbers. Remember, we're playing catch up, but we can catch up. So I thank you all for your commitment to Project Nigeria. And we all look forward to the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Ministers, and I'd like to thank everyone. It's been nearly about 2 hours now of this engagement, and there's something Honourable Minister Iman said that I'd like to just pinpoint on, that if you have access to me, you have access to influence what I do in my office, influence my work, and I'm sure the same. It's the same with Minister Wisdom. It is that window which is this window to say, hear us directly. Don't hear us from the news. Don't hear us from the bloggers. Listen to us directly, and possibly something you will say, whether that has been said or that will be said before we all leave this office, can influence the work that they do. They will go back to Nigeria. There will be an opportunity, and they'll say, you know what, I was in Dubai recently, and this is the actual picture. So thank you so much for your time. We trust that it will not end here, that you would take all of these concerns, these ideas, take them back and plug them in as necessary and where necessary. Again, thank you to you all for being here, and to the virtual audience who are still watching. I've been just following up on some of the comments. Thank you so much. We hope to bring more of these engagements, and I will not wrap this up without saying a big thank you to the Adeniyi Group. Can we give them a round of applause? Everything that you've seen here, they've backed it up. Maybe they're probably thinking, what did we get into? But thank you so much. Nigeria is proud of you, and we sincerely appreciate you. My name is Mayawa Adigoke. Let's keep that conversation going. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I know that one or two people would like to get in a word or get a picture or get something, whatever it is. The floor is open. The party is over, so this is the after party now.
Thank you, Mayawa.
Thank you so much. So